there objection?
Mr. President.
The senator from New Jersey.
Mr. President, reserving the right to object, let me thank Senator Grassley for his work on this issue, and I agree with him that our current FARA regime is in need of updating. And I look forward to working with him and Senator Corden and Senator Whitehouse and Shaheen, both who came to speak to me about this, as well as Chairman Risch and the co-sponsors of this legislation on engaging in a comprehensive effort to do just that. FARA, the Foreign Agent Registration Act, is perhaps the most critical tool we have for shining a light on foreign influence efforts in the United States. Its aim is to ensure that the public knows the source of foreign-directed efforts that are intended to influence American public opinion, policy, and laws. And I agree with the Senator that the past few years have demonstrated that changes are sorely needed to FARA. But they also demonstrate that the statute may need more than a few tweaks. And before we have determined exactly what the most needed reforms are, it seems short-sighted to provide additional enforcement tools before we have figured out what the regime should look like. Indeed, adopting ad hoc changes rather than looking at more comprehensive reform could actually create more problems down the road. Many have noted that FARA's definitions and requirements are broad and sow confusion over exactly when and under what circumstances an individual must register and report covered activities. And there's no denying the nature of lobbying, influence efforts, and communication methods has dramatically changed since FARA was enacted in 1938 or even revised in 1966. We live in a dramatically more interconnected and complex world today. Foreign influence efforts and disinformation have made their way to the top echelons of U.S. government and this very body. It seems only prudent that we step back and examine whether there are blind spots in the current FARA regime. There are a number of bills pending in both the House and the Senate that propose reforms to FARA. Some propose a new unit altogether for reviewing and enforcing FARA violations. Others propose additional disclosure and registration requirements, significant changes to the current FARA exemptions, or more electronic reporting. Yet none of those have been given thorough or indeed any consideration by the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, the Committee of Jurisdiction. There are also a number of concerns about the current FARA regime, as well as how it has been applied, that deserve consideration. Some nonprofit organizations, for example, have raised serious concerns about how FARA could be applied to them and are seeking additional changes to this bill to ensure it is not weaponized. And as other countries such as Russia and Hungary adopt their own versions of FARA laws and look to use it to crack down on civil society groups and nonprofits, we should be especially concerned about the signal that any potential weaponizing of FARA sends. The past few years have shown how critical it is that we not adopt a patchwork approach, but that we get it right. The disturbing rise of foreign influence campaigns that use a variety of measures to mask who is the ultimate source or beneficiary should serve as an alarm bell for all of us. So, Mr. President, before this body passes any tweaks or new tools and adds to the current patchwork of FARA regulations and exemptions, I think we should take a step back and take a comprehensive look. And we have not done that. So, respectfully, Mr. President, these changes should not pass this body without careful consideration by the Committee of Jurisdiction. A committee markup is the appropriate vehicle for considering such changes, to assess the ramifications of the changes in this bill, and to see if other changes are warranted. I stand ready and willing to work with Chairman Risch, with Senator Grassley, and other colleagues to make any needed changes to FARA. But because of all of these concerns that I have, I object today to passing this bill out of the Senate without first giving the committee the opportunity to consider it and other potential reforms. I urge my colleagues to give us the opportunity to work through this together and ensure the Foreign Assets Registration Act is fit for the 21st century, and because of that, I do object.